As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up for women and children against predators who abuse them. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks, delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure, and helped pass a homeowner bill of rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation. I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges, for workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due, for seniors facing elder abuse.
We need to know your plans for the future. They have to make sure that she is on topic, on points. Y'all know what we want to hear. Now, hopefully, hopefully it goes more than this, but we're going to give her some leeway.
I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings, who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities. And I will tell you, these fights were not easy, and neither were the elections that put me in those offices. We were underestimated at practically every turn, but we never gave up, because the future is always worth fighting for.
All right, we got to get to the topics.
And that's the fight we are in. The chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol, where they assaulted law enforcement officers. When politicians in his own party begged him to call off law enforcement.
We know this too. But what is your policies? Come on.
And officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy. His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens.
Good thing I stopped. Damn, Trump, she got you there. That was the horriblest move of all time. And they thought it was a good move. You know who thought it was a good move too? The police. Idiots. The idiocy, bro. It sometimes it kills me. Oh my gosh. They called the military on protesters. In America, idiots. That's gonna come back to bite them. They still regret that. I tried to tell y'all, ain't nobody going back to living like that. Ain't nobody is going back to living like that. She does have a point, but she does got to get to the policies. But come on, keep going.
Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution. Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, and how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States. Not to improve your life, not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had. himself. And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors, and its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back. We are not.
Isn't that funny how we easily came up to that? Like everyone after that speech we gave two reasons. Joe Biden cannot be president again. He's too old. But one thing for sure, and two shits for sure, we ain't going back to that shit. I'll be damned. It ain't happening, fam. It ain't happening, bro. Donald Trump has 70 days to prove that he's going to try to unify this country. If not, it's over. I told y'all that. It's been downhill since then.
Going back. We are not going back. We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. We are not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools. We are not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and childcare for our children. America, we are not going back. And we are charting a new way forward. Forward to a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
Okay. I think we
and
might
I'll tell
be.
you, this is personal for me.
Okay.
The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget.
Oh my God. I'll have to hear some policy. I'm hearing a history lesson, Chad. I'm dying here.
We lived.
I need some water. I'm thirsty. Give me something to drink, please. I'm thirsty. Kamala, please, I'm thirsty. Just give me something to drink.
Within our means, yet we wanted for little. And she expected us to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us and to be grateful for them. Because, as she taught us, opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed. Whether you live in a rural area, small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like health care and housing and groceries. We will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders. And we will end America's housing shortage and protect Social Security and Medicare. Now compare that to Donald Trump, because I think everyone here knows he doesn't actually fight for the middle class. He doesn't actually fight for the middle class. Instead, he fights for himself and his billionaire friends. And he will give them another round of tax breaks that will add up to $5 trillion to the national debt. And all the while, he intends to enact what in effect is a national sales tax, call it a Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle-class families by almost $4,000 a year. Well, instead of a Trump tax hike, we will pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans.
Okay, now we're getting into some policy. Getting a couple of strikes. Let's see, can she hit it out the park?
I believe America cannot truly be prosperous unless Americans are fully able to make their own decisions about their own lives, especially on matters of heart and home. But tonight, in America, too many women are not able to make those decisions. And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme
Let's stop the bashing.
Court to take away reproductive freedom.
There's a little too much bashing.
And now he brought women miscarrying in a parking lot.
I don't care about that. What are you going to do?
Developing sepsis, losing the ability to ever again have children, all because doctors are afraid they may go to jail for caring for their forced to carry a pregnancy to term. This is what's happening in our country because of Donald Trump. And understand
it's something. I'm not going to say it's not nothing, but I'm just saying it's a lot of bashing. What are you going to do as a president?
And he is not done.
And it's stuff we already know. So,
as a part of his agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control. Simply put, they are out of their minds. To restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. In this election, many other fundamental freedoms are at stake. The freedom to live safe from gun violence in our schools, communities, and places of worship. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and live free from the pollution that fuels the climate crisis. And the freedom that unlocks all the others, the freedom to vote. With this election, we finally have the opportunity to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act.
That's something.
And let me be clear. After decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border. Last year, Joe and I brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans to write the strongest border bill in decades. The Border Patrol endorsed it. But Donald Trump believes a border deal would hurt his campaign. So he ordered his allies in Congress to kill the deal. Well, I refuse to play politics with our security. And here is my pledge to you.
Okay, let's go. There we go.
As president, I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law. I know
She's
we
hitting
can
the points.
live up to our proud heritage as a nation of immigrants and reform our broken immigration system. We can win, create an earned pathway to citizenship, and secure our border.
Good. Points. 10 points, 10
And
points.
America, we must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As Vice President, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas. As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
10 points.
And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
10 points. Good. She's hitting all marks. Now she's going to have to bring it down to the inner cities.
I will make sure
Disenfranchise the low workers.
that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America...
Ooh, okay. She's hitting it. 10 points. Good shit.
not China, wins the competition for the 20...
Oh, shit. Straight up saying it out loud. Good shit. 10 points. This is shit that Trump's not giving us. Good. And Joe Biden wasn't giving us. Good. 10 points. She might be a female Obama, but it took her a long time to get here. She's getting better.
Century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate.
Let's go back again. That bit, did she say AI? Better than China? How you know about that?
China wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate, our global leadership. Trump, on the other hand, Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
Make the Republicans, the bald guys happy.
I will fulfill
You know they love war.
our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Definitely agree with that. 10 points. USA.
I will make sure
Classic USA chant.
that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate, our global leadership. Trump, on the other hand, threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies, said Russia could, quote, do whatever the hell they want. 5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine, I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade. I helped mobilize a global response, over 50 countries, to defend against Putin's aggression. And as president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. With respect to the war in Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock, because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done. And let me be clear, I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself. because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7, including unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time, what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost. Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination. And know this, I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump, Because, you know, they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself. And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs. I love our country with all my heart. Everywhere I go, in everyone I meet, I see a nation that is ready to move forward, ready for the next step in the incredible journey that is America. I see an America where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation and inspired the world, that here in this country, anything is possible, that nothing is out of reach. An America where we care for one another, look out for one another, and recognize that we have so much more in common than what separates us.
Good. 10 points. Good shit.
None of us has to fail for all of us to succeed.
Good.
And that in unity there is strength.
Yes.
You know, our opponents in this race are out there every day denigrating America, talking about how terrible everything is. Well, my mother had another lesson she used to teach. Never let anyone tell you who you are. You show them who you are. Let us show each other and the world who we are and what we stand for. Freedom, opportunity, compassion, dignity, fairness, and endless possibilities. We are the heirs heirs to the greatest democracy in the history of the world. And on behalf of our children and our grandchildren and all those who sacrificed so dearly for our freedom and liberty, we must be worthy of this moment. It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done, guided by optimism and faith to
someone on their thing where have they been watching my stream? How the hell they been saying my talking points?
fight for this country we love, to fight for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American. So let's get out there.
She brung it home. It took way too long to get there. She got to get better with that. Stay on topic. Stay on point. We might need a new speech maker. Man, get Obama a speech maker, man. Okay? Because that nigga would have had you on point. You could have had an A+. I got to only give you a B, though. But you did good. You did good. You brought it home. It took you too long to get there, fam. The history lesson was cool, but it took 20 minutes. The history lesson got to be 5 minutes. But other than that, man, you did good. Good job. And you have a blended ass family, which is good too, which is America, a blended ass, weird ass family. And you brought that home too. And if there's no togetherness, that person ain't going to win. So now let's see what Donald Trump got to say.